Another webinar powered by Royal Cyber. My name is Ali, and I'll be your host and one of the speakers for today. Now, some ground rules for a smoother experience before we begin. If you're unable to see my screen or hear me properly, kindly notify me at the chat window located at the right side of the pane. We'll be able to help you with all of your answers at the end of this presentation. So all of your queries, whatsoever they are, will be addressed accordingly. So please, as soon as you have questions, feel free to sort of add those into the span so that we'll be able to get your questions. Okay, you can also post your questions or comments anytime during the presentation or even before the end of it, so that we'll be able to take care of those. And we'll be able to answer you at the end of this presentation. Additionally, there is an email ID which is mentioned here, and that is info@royalcyber.com, and we'll be happy to sort of discuss this with you. Now, in the next 45 minutes, we're going to discuss how are you going to secure, scale, and automate with IBM DataPower Gateway. And that is something which is a very, very crucial topic. And a lot of the organizations who are using IBM DataPower are not familiarized with, some sort of components around the security, scalability, and the automation of this specific platform itself. So next, I would like to talk about, first of all, the speaker's introduction. So here's me on the left-hand side. I look after the middleware practice for Royal Cyber. And with me here is my colleague, a great friend, and has an tremendous experience and knowledge around IBM DataPower, Subhashish Sahu. And he's the solution architect at Royal Cyber, taking care of the IBM middleware products. Okay, next. First thing first, let's talk about Royal Cyber. We're a mid-sized IT consulting, transformation, and services company which offers softwares and solutions. We are in the business for the last 20 plus years. We have about 2,500 plus employees globally. Our headquarters is in Naperville, Illinois, and we have offices across 5 different continents. We have the offices in the UK, the Australia, Middle East, and we have our back office in India and other Asian countries. And we have 600 plus happy customers who are basically there to sort of help. And we have awards and recognitions where we have ISO 9001, 27001 certifications as well. And we have technology partnerships, which includes AWS partnerships, IBM partnerships, Microsoft, and all that. And okay. And we have partnerships with Google Cloud and Oracle as well. So next, let's talk about the agenda for today. Okay, here's the agenda. So in the agenda, we will start with the IBM DataPower in 2025 and how is this relevance come in. What's new in the DataPower 10.x and includes the IDG X3 features, the core capabilities, advanced security and zero trust authentication, threat protection and compliance features, AI-driven detection, service level monitoring, how you can sort of manage all of this together when you've already implemented it, and how you manage the service levels, automations and data DevOps integrations, multi-cloud deployments, and of course, some of the use cases that we have for the industry. Now, that is just kind of a high level in terms of the agenda, but of course, we have a lot to discuss, and we're going to deep dive into all of these things together. And I'm going to hand this over to my colleague Subhashish now, so that he can delve into these things and explain to you in detail around, how is DataPower secure, scalable, and we can do the automation in it. Over to you.
Thank you, Ali, for the introduction. A quick introduction about me. I am Subhashis, and I work as a solution architect and as a DataPower SME with Royal Cyber. And I have been working with enterprise integration and API security solutions, including DataPower, IBM API Connect, APG, and multiple other hybrid architectures. So as you have heard by now, our agenda is action packed. I mean, we have a lot to discuss. So diving straight away into what exactly are we dealing with? So the API security challenge. We API is a buzzword and it is very familiar, very widely used. So the API is everywhere. The digital economy runs on APIs. They're connecting each and everything, be it from mobile apps to cloud services. I mean, the usage is massive and widespread. But this rapid growth, I mean, across hybrid and multi-cloud environments, has also created a wider exposure and wider surface for attacks and the security breaches. So the perimeter security is dead. I mean, initially we used to work on a castle and moat model, wherein only the defense mechanism was the outside of the perimeter, and we assume that everything inside the perimeter is pretty safe. But that's not the case right now, since each and every API deals with exchange of data, and any breach in any one particular API opens the door for massive attack, and the blast radius can be very massive. And talking about the inconsistent controls, when we have many multiple gateways, disparate gateways, so some are legacy, some are cloud native, some are modern, so you get inconsistent security controls. So this leads to gaps in each and every identity enforcement, or be it non-uniform rate limits, and ultimately governance failures. Traditional firewalls are, I mean, today is not enough, because the attacks that happen right now are very sophisticated. They include credential theft or malicious injection, with the DDoS targeting specifically application layer of your APIs. So these are the broad risk that exposing your API directly into the internet poses. So what exactly have we got as a solution? So the solution is DataPower, IBM DataPower Gateway, uh, offering from IBM, which has been for providing solutions to multiple organizations for decades together now. So where exactly DataPower fits in? So DataPower Gateway steps in and it becomes relevant not just as any other gateway, but as a secure, high performance enforcement point for any of your APIs, web services, or be it any legacy integration security rich gateway built for any borderless API world. So what's the core purpose of DataPower? So DataPower stands between your API consumers and your backend services, ensuring that each and every transaction that happen in the cloud, or be it in any on-prem setup or hybrid setup, is safeguarded, integrated, and optimized. So what are the main pillars of DataPower? So if you can see, the three main pillars of DataPower is security, optimization, and integration. We will talk about all of these in detail in upcoming slides. Now coming to the latest offering of DataPower, that is IDG X3. So X3 was launched in 2022 and it has been in use since then. So what exactly IDG X3 provides? So talking on a very high level, which we will discuss all these in detail later: enhanced security, improved performance, simplified management, and ready for the DevOps readiness. HPC boost. This is something, high performance computing. This is something very relevant and very much in focus right now. Enhanced crypto. As we can see, the security is the essence of beat any application that is exposed on the internet. Native observability, zero downtime, cloud native, be it in OpenShift or integration with Istio. DataPower also can run as a sidecar along with its deployments. AI traffic anomaly detection. Again, I mean, the advent of AI along with integration with DataPower has opened up wide possibilities. Any traffic detection, any difference in patterns, or the latencies are easily captured and monitored by DataPower. Going more, a brief vivid comparison about the different versions, I mean different offerings of IDG DataPower that has been provided by IBM on a very high level. IDG X1, IDG X2, and IDG X3. So if you can see, the latest model right now, that is IDG X3, provides HPC multi-core, high process computing, which enables the transaction speed are lightning fast right now. The throughput is 14 plus GB, I mean, which is way more than that the earlier capabilities, the offerings that has been released by IBM earlier. And also if we talk about the TLS offloading and AI ML support, which is much advanced and available right now in IDG X3. So when we have the TLS offload, so basically the entire handshaking process is offloaded from your backend, which and the bulk heavy lifting is done from the data power, so that your backend applications do not have to be at the brunt of any traffic or any bottleneck of huge volume of traffic that is incoming towards your application. Moving on. So what exactly is the latest version of DataPower that is available now? So when we talk about the latest version, so 10.6.x is the latest version of DataPower that is available, and this is a long-term support version, LTS version. So when we talk about this 10.6 version, so it has multiple capabilities. So to start with the zero trust architecture. So the motto of zero trust architecture is never trust and always verify, unlike traditional, as we talked about, castle and moat security models that assume everything inside a perimeter or the user's devices, anything inside a particular DMZ are by default thought to be secure, but that's not the case here. Zero trust architecture, it authenticates and authorizes each of the users, devices, application, for each and every transaction. So this this limits or this removes any possibility of attack that can happen within the restricted perimeter or within that militarized zone. So DataPower is also available as a containerized image right now. It can just run as a microservice. Traditionally, it used to be only a physical version, later VMware. Right now, it is also available as your Docker image, which you can run as a microservice. Very light in weight and easily compatible with any of your cloud offerings. So zero downtime upgrades, the blue-green upgrade or the rolling deployment, this provide almost zero downtime. There is no, the customer will not face any of the latency or any glitch while doing any of the upgrades that we do in production. And AI-driven anomaly detection. So this is the latest feature of DataPower, wherein it detects any unusual traffic patterns or the latency spikes in traffic or the bottlenecking of any particular service or any of your application. Each of these difference in the patterns are monitored in real time, and it is easily detected, and action can be taken. So what we're trying to do here is we are trying to reduce the MTTR and MTTD, mean time to react and mean time to detect. So with the advent of AI driven anomaly detection inbuilt in DataPower, so we are reducing the MTTD to quite an extent, which results in safeguarding your application and reducing your blast radius and reducing your damage if in case there is any such issues or failures. Moving on. What are the advanced capabilities of DataPower? I mean, we talked about the zero trust architecture, never trust, always verify. In addition to this, there are multiple different features that has been launched along with these. So I will talk about this PQC. PQC is the latest algorithm, the SHA algorithm or the RSA algorithm. These provide the possibility that this can be breached if quantum computing is used. But to target specifically these kind of attacks, so DataPower has leverage the feature of this PQC KEM algorithms, which are particularly meant for the post-quantum cryptography and to block any of these attacks. So these are not just based on any complex mathematical operation. Rather, this is particularly meant to block any of the attacks coming from the quantum computers. We also have something called CCM and CHA Chacha stream cipher. I mean, there are multiple types of cipher. CCM is a 2 pass block, and Chacha is a stream cipher. So these again provides, once the data is authenticated, only then it is encrypted. So these are the different multiple ways that DataPower provides to safeguard your application and to provide the security. One more new capability that I would like to talk in the protocol and deployment enhancement, that is HTTP3. I mean, we have heard of HTTP1, that is normal HTTP2. HTTP3 is something which bypasses all your traditional methods of the handshaking and all. Rather, within one call, all these are encapsulated, and it is the latest web protocol that uses quick. The acronym of quick UDP internet connection. So rather than traditional TCP connection, it uses UDP, which is very much faster, lightweight, and has much lower overhead. Moving on, we discussed about the three pillars of DataPower. The DataPower banks on these three pillars, with the security, integration, and optimization. Security has always been priority for DataPower, wherein we focus uh, focus completely on the authentication, authorization, and preventing any of the attacks that happen on the internet. Integration, DataPower seamlessly bridges any of the protocols or any of the data types, any transformation, enabling communication between legacy backends and also modern front ends. So in this way, security and integration are the two pillars. Coming to optimization, so DataPower has now multiple other features wherein we will discuss again these in upcoming slides, ensuring performance through intelligent techniques like HSM acceleration, caching, load balancing, connection reuse, and delivering high throughput with the load balancing. We will discuss all these three pillars in upcoming slide extensively. So moving on. Okay. Coming to the integration capabilities, integration and modernization with DataPower. So DataPower boasts for the fact that it is able to bridge gap in any protocol transformation and to connect with any traditional and the modern front-end applications. API to enterprise gateway. I mean, it can bridge the latest right now the REST and JSON and also the traditional enterprise protocols, be it the SOAP or XML, MQ database. It can connect either of these and answer hassle-free communication between all of these. In addition to this, it also supports automation and CI/CD integration. The advent of in this latest feature of DataPower in IBM X3, it also has the now option to utilize the decorative model for managing configuration templates, and this is specifically for the GitOps and DevOps, wherein it can seamlessly integrate with any of these applications, providing you the ability to seamlessly integrate and deploy any of the changes, any of the production, any of the metrics into the production anytime. Coming to cloud native and B2B connectivity. So it is business to business. It can easily integrate with any of your Kubernetes or OpenShift environments. So any file transfer, it can consolidate API traffic with high volume. B2B partners, multiple B2B partners can be clubbed together on one particular B2B gateway. And we have AS2 connectivity, AS3 connectivity. All these different types of connectivity is also provided with DataPower. Future ready API protocols, just one which we discussed, HTTP3, which uses the UDP instead of TCP, and also in one call it bypasses, if you are aware of TLS 1.2, TLS 1.3. TLS 1.2 has 3 steps of verification before authorizing a user or authorizing a client. The handshake process is 3 steps. TLS 1.3 is 2 steps. HTTP3, I mean, it is much more. The runtime has reduced to 0 or 1, while the handshake. So it is in one step. Within one step, the authorization, authentication, and the session enabling can be done in just very one step. So this reduces the latency and also increases the processing speed while authenticating any of the user or any of the application to a next higher level. Coming to the performance optimization, so caching, compression, hardware acceleration, load balancing, failover, connection reuse, and protocol optimization. We will discuss each in on a very higher level. So coming to caching, faster responses by serving frequently requested data from cache. So as we talked about the connection reuse, so this feature enables DataPower to fetch any of the information directly from the cache rather than going to the database server and picking up this. The time limits, the time saved here, and increases the throughput, increases the speed of the processing, and also reduces the latency. Coming to hardware acceleration, DataPower supports HSM acceleration and SSL offloading, wherein the complete heavy lifting is done from the DataPower, such that your backend need not do any of this authorization or authentication. It can simply trust whatever is sent from DataPower, because the heavy lifting is done from the DataPower itself. Moving on, monitoring and observability. So DataPower has multiple features, multiple mechanisms that support extensive monitoring. We will discuss a couple of things in detail in coming slides, wherein DataPower leverages monitoring in different aspects at different layers of a transaction. So on a very high level, visualization and alerting, yes, DataPower is able to integrate with the Grafana dashboards for trend analysis, for the real-time monitoring. It has built-in native tools, the metrics and JSON logs that native Prometheus endpoints for real-time monitoring that is possible now, and key metrics to track. Okay. When we talk about latency, usually the P95, P99 latency, 95% of the volume of the traffic volume is reached on time, and we are concerned about the 5% of the traffic that is relatively slow. And when coming to P99, where 99% of the volume of the processing going fine, and just 1% is affected very badly. So in this case, wherein these kind of users which are affected very badly, 99% I mean, are fine, just 1% users are suffering, be it for any latency or any connection drops or any packet drops anywhere. So DataPower metrics helps us identify these kind of users or these kind of calls which are facing 99 latency or 95 latency, and it helps us to react in a much faster way, because we tend to identify which are the users facing these kind of latency, and we can take immediate action. So these real-time tracking of data, this real-time monitoring helps in a massive way when it comes to identifying any or detecting any of the concerning areas, or identifying which are the things that are causing issue to the real-time system. So moving on, operational monitoring. So as we talked, DataPower has extensive monitoring capability. So there are multiple. To start with SLM, service level monitoring. So on each and every service level, we can utilize different types of filters. You have the option to limit, to route the traffic, to set your rate limits, to throttle, to shape. You have the capability to completely manipulate and modify the traffic such that as per the liking of the backend, you can send it anyway as it likes. Coming to AI driven anomaly detection, yes, this is a latest feature that has been inbuilt in DataPower, which monitors the difference in patterns, difference in any traffic patterns, or difference in latency, any increase in latency, or the slowness in the system. So these kind of things are easily detected, and as you said, since it is easily detected, so the mean time to react is reduced much extent. And once it is the mean time to detect is reduced, even the MTTR, mean time to react, is increased, and we tend to take action immediately, rather than in a traditional way of going through the logs, trying to identify what is the concerning parameter that is causing this kind of issue. So this all takes time, but now with the intelligent detection, so these all are taken care very easily. Coming to automated diagnostics, so whenever you have an issue, so DataPower has a capability therein for couple of event records, we can also suggest DataPower to take couple of actions. So in this case, without users or without a manual intervention, whenever there is any issue on DataPower, or whenever there is any event that has occurred, so for that particular event, we can also set up a particular steps, I mean course of actions that can also be taken from the DataPower as per our configuration. So this again, I mean, limits the manual intervention, and it saves plenty of time, and also make sure that the system is highly available and does not get affected if in event of any of these issues or failures. So we will just go through on a very high level when we talked about DataPower has extensive monitoring capability, what are those actually. So inbuilt fine-grained monitoring on DataPower. So DataPower has the capability, even if not depending on any external monitoring systems like Splunk or New Relic, Kibana. DataPower has ability, the feature ingrained in DataPower, wherein we can count the number of messages for a particular service, but for a particular endpoint, for a particular HTTP method. All these fine-grained control is provided by DataPower. If you see to these screenshots that we have attached here, so we have different types of monitor. One is message count monitor, one is message duration monitor. Even DataPower is able to provide you the details like what is the time taken to process this message, process this particular message for a particular endpoint or a particular message type. Each of these details is provided by DataPower. And it's not just with the request. You can set up these kind of configuration with the request, as you can see in this image, response, and also with the errors as well. So it gives such fine-grained and complete control to the traffic that is incoming towards DataPower. Now coming to message type, here you can see you can set up the different strings that you are expecting. For example, if you see Google, if I take an example, any endpoint abc.com/a/b, and you want for that particular endpoint to see what exactly is the time taken for that particular endpoint to process on DataPower, what exactly is the count of messages that is received on per minute or within a day, 24 hours. If you want to monitor those traffic, even those kind of fine-grained details can also be configured on DataPower without having to depend on any of the external monitoring tools. So moving on, yes, HTTP methods. This is one we talked about. If you want to have different kinds of your logic, different kinds of rate limiting, different kind of filters for different HTTP methods, even that is possible on DataPower. If you can see the different verbs like option, get, head, post, put, for these different type of HTTP methods, we can have different types of limits that we can enforce. This gives a complete control of the any incoming traffic towards DataPower. Not just this HTTP methods, you can also limit any particular IP that, let's say I want to receive for one particular service, I want to receive traffic only for a certain range of IP. Even that is possible. We need not depend on a manual firewall as well. So excluding any particular IP or receiving traffic for a selected range of IP, even that is possible on DataPower without having to depend on any firewalls as we do in the traditional setup. Moving on. Okay, so now we discussed the fine-grained different approaches of DataPower, wherein we can limit traffic based on the IP, or we can only get traffic on a particular range of IP, which our firewall used to do, or coming to the different monitoring tools that provides the count of the messages for a particular endpoint or for a particular URI, and the duration taken for the processing of that messages. All these can be done within DataPower itself without having to depend on any of the external load balancer or any external firewalls or any of our external monitoring tools. Now coming to the service level monitoring, what exactly can we do? How we can limit the rate? So SLM in DataPower has multiple different three types of action to be in brief. First is a notify action. Let's say my backend application can process 120 transactions per second. So I want to be notified when the number of transactions tend to increase around 80, so that I am aware that, okay, it has already reached 80, that is 75-80% of the capability. Now it might be exhaustive or it might reach the bottleneck. So in that case, we can set up a notify action for any of your services, and we get to know, okay, the number of transactions has now reached to this level and you are just left with 20 to 25% of your capability. This helps us prepare, or this helps us to inform the backend that this is the current scenario. Should you like to increase the processing speed, or do you want to limit the traffic? So these kind of details really helps your backend application to take the traffic and without having to face the brunt of the huge volume that is incoming towards them. The second action, that is shape. Let's say I do not want to compromise on my I can compromise on my processing speed, but I do not want to let any of the transactions fail that is coming towards me. Okay, let's say we are talking about a payment system. In that case, any of the payment that call has been initiated, I do not want it to drop. I'm okay with a slighter delayed processing, but I'm not okay with the failure of that transaction. In that case, we can shape your traffic. So what exactly does, let's say again we talk about 120 transactions per second, that is your maximum capability. Beyond that, you want it to put it in a queue rather than rejecting it, or rather than failing those kind of transactions. So in those cases, once you set up this shape mechanism on DataPower, it will put the transactions in queue, and slowly the processing happens. So in this case, you will of course find might be a slight delay in your processing, but there is no failure of any of the transactions that has been initiated. So this comes very handy when it comes to any financial organizations or any payment related calls that is being received on DataPower. The next thing is throttle action. So there are at times when the number of traffic that is incoming towards DataPower is not necessarily the application traffic. It can be from a man in the middle attack as well. So in that case, if you want to throttle, or if you want to reject beyond a certain point, even that can be done. Let's say if we still stick to this 120 transactions per second, I do not want to overload my backend nor reach a bottleneck. So I want to reject any of the calls coming beyond 120. Even that can be done using the throttling mechanism. So these are the three different actions that SLM in DataPower provides, wherein we can uh, help to notify, wherein it's a proactive measure to have a review of our existing configuration shape, wherein we are excuse me, we are making sure that there is no failure in the transaction, but I'm okay with a slighter delayed processing speed. Throttle, wherein beyond a certain limit we reject a transaction to safeguard our application and do not let it crash. Moving on, yes, the SLM setup that we talked about, and DataPower console provides a very beautiful graphical representation, because many a times when we face any business live business, so when we communicate that your backend is not processing or we can see a latency in the backend, so that conversation goes on, and because no one wants to own that our system is latent. Okay, so in those kind of things, DataPower provides a clear-cut picture of the graphical representation, which tells us that, okay, where exactly is the latency coming from, and there is no denying the fact that it's the application latency or the gateway latency. So if you can see these different screenshots that has been attached here, SLM rate graph. So it shows the number of transactions that has been processed, the ones in blue, which you can see, and the lighter spikes in purple. So these are the errors that has occurred for this particular service. And if there is anything in green, these are the throttling. I mean, these are the messages that has been rejected because of the volume of the traffic. Likewise, the latency graph. So this is the, you can see the internal latency, that is your DataPower's latency, and your external, that is the backend's latency. So this clearly shows where exactly is the latency coming from. This SLM count graph gives a count of the message. Okay. So moving on. Excuse me. Okay, so coming to the cloud native and multi-cloud deployment. So we talked extensively about the integration capabilities, the security measures, the optimization techniques of DataPower. We also discussed about the extensive monitoring capabilities, the inbuilt, the fine-grained features of blocking any calls from a particular IP. It can act as a firewall as well. It can act as a monitoring tool as well. Now we will discuss about cloud native and multi-cloud deployment. Give me a minute. I will have some water. Thank you. So coming to the cloud native and multi-cloud deployment. So DataPower has evolved, I mean, far beyond the physical appliance. It truly offers flexibility, supporting virtual editions, and most critically, optimized containerized deployment for Kubernetes and OpenShift. Coming to service mesh integration, it works seamlessly as a secure sidecar with services mesh like Istio as well. By leveraging container orchestration features like blue-green deployment and the rolling upgrades, wherein the user need not wait or need not face any downtime because of any of the upgrades that you push into the system, DataPower deployments achieve true zero-time scalability with the high availability these days. Consistent policy. So when it comes to multi-cloud, be it AWS, be it Azure, or be it your Google, or any different third-party cloud, DataPower is key to consistent policy enforcement, which you define security and access one, and it is applied uniformly across each and every environment. So moving on, automation and GitOps integration. So this is something which will catch the eye of the people who are already into DevOps. So DataPower has the capability. It has to meet the demands of modern integration, CI/CD. DataPower configure can be fully automated from policy updates to service deployment, and it integrates perfectly with any of the major pipelines like Jenkins, GitHub, or even Azure DevOps. With GitOps and IAC, that is infrastructure as a code, DataPower fully embraces GitOps, treating DataPower configuration just as the infrastructure as a code. All configurations live in version controlled Git repositories. So this provides a fine-grained control over what is pushed to the system and what are the configurations that has been done on the system. Now coming to auditability and Ansible, I mean, this provides full auditability. Any logs, any changes that has been done to the system can be completely audited. The logs can be completely visible, and any of the rollbacks that you wish, that is completely simplified. Furthermore, we use Ansible code-driven provisioning and automated governance tasks like security policy updates and certificate renewal, ensuring maximum consistency throughout all your deployments. Now, we talked about the automation and GitOps integration, the different cloud native deployment, be it cloud native or be it multi-cloud. Now we will move to practical use cases of DataPower. Coming to API security and core transformation, the basic strength of DataPower is, of course, its security and its integration. So coming to API security, where exactly DataPower fits in. So any banking application or any banking API which validates a jailbroken token via OAuth 2.0, which is the latest OpenAuth, while a fintech app blocks rooted or jailbroken devices as the gateway layer. So as we initially talked about, that DataPower believes in zero trust architecture, always verify, trust no one. So with OAuth, with JWT token, and with OIDC, OpenID Connect, so with advent of all these and integration of all these, so DataPower makes sure that this provides the best possible solution for any of your banking applications. Coming to the core message and financial transformation, DataPower can handle any-to-any protocol transformation, not just protocol transformation, also the message transformation, especially XML, JSON, EDIFACT, which works particularly well with the invoicing. So it can completely handle each of the transformation that we do, be it in your front-end traffic and be it your back-end traffic. Okay. Even since in banking transaction it involves payments, so non-repudiation of a message is pretty essential, and DataPower completely lives to this expectation by establishing trust and accountability in electronic and communication contacts. Moving on. DataPower use cases in integration and hybrid connectivity. One more strength of DataPower, that is its integration. It vouches for the fact that DataPower can bridge any-to-any protocol bridging or any-to-any message transformation. So this is a DataPower's, we can say, heritage and enduring strength, that it seamlessly transforms and route traffic virtually from any to any protocol. Coming to hybrid cloud data integration, DataPower is a secured cloud connector, providing a trusted bridge between your on-prem system, be it your ERP, and cloud applications. It maintains identity propagation, ensuring user identity and token context is preserved from end to end. So this helps in, again, zero trust architecture. Coming to the next slide, that is your operational best practices and cloud native integration. So when we talk about the best practices, so DataPower have DevSecOps already embedded within it. It directly automates the security checks, the policy validation before deployment, managing everything through the grid variables and automatically scanning for configuration compliance. Coming to monitoring and audit, leverage the new JSON logs and native Prometheus endpoints, centralizes this into your data system, be it your Splunk or ELK, for any long-term audit analysis. And it can also use the CLI session for tracking all the administrative changes that has been done to the system. Coming to cloud native deployments, always deploy DataPower in OpenShift or Kubernetes cluster using declarative templates. I mean, this is a best practice. Implement blue, green, or rolling upgrades as per your liking, and make sure that you enable that AI-driven anomaly detection, because that helps in a massive way whenever any changes to your traffic, any changes to the patterns or the latency, and it can straight away react. It can straight away troubleshoot either with the configuration that we have set up for any of the events. It can take automatic action, or else at least it can notify, which helps us to prevent any of the massive failures that is incoming, or to at least limit the blast radius. Okay, so here I hand over back to Ali for the offers that we have for this event.
Thank you very much, Subhashish. It was fantastic. It was insightful, and it's just amazing. So for our audience today who are attending this event, we have an exclusive offer for you guys. You've already heard, and if you're using IBM as IBM DataPower as your gateway, so you can utilize this exclusive offer. So we have a complimentary assessment for you where we are going to actually do the use case identification for you, the scoping, what exactly can we do for you guys and how we can sort of provide the automation maturity and all these kind of things. And then the deliverables will include obviously part of our workshop. We'll propose you the solution, we'll propose you the ROI for that. There is an implementation plan and timelines, and of course the cost associated to do that specific use case delivery. Or else we can move into the Jumpstart package, which includes the stakeholders information, a use case finalization with Candice, and then Cadence, and then of course there's a pilot use case implementation, documentation, a complete knowledge transfer that we are providing to your team members. It includes the service and support options as well, and which it will have an estimated duration of 4 to 6 weeks with a discounted price. So you can avail either an assessment or either a jumpstart package. So in any way possible, we are always there to help you, and you already have the email address, which is info@royalcyber.com. So you can always reach out to us, and if you have any queries or questions, you can feel free to sort of talk to us. Okay, as we are moving in towards the last part of our conversation, and like I mentioned already to you in the start or the beginning, that we will ask you, we will sort of read through your questions, whatsoever questions we will receive from the audience. So far, Subhashish, we have received a couple of questions, and I'd like to go over those in order for them to understand and know what sort of questions, what are the confusions they have. So the first question that we have received from the audience is that, yeah, the session was insightful, but how is the IBM DataPower different from APG, Kong, or AWS Gateway?
Okay, yeah. This is the obvious question when we talk about DataPower as an API gateway. Yes, there are multiple other platforms that provide API proxy capabilities like APG, as you mentioned, Kong, or even any APIs other gateway. But when we talk about DataPower is a security hardened gateway appliance that combines both API security, integration, transformation, and performance optimization all in a single runtime. It even handles, layer 4 to layer 7 security, hardware crypto acceleration, message transformation, protocol bridging, and as we talked about, the zero trust enforcement, which most of the API gateways do not. Either the API's gateway provide only the capabilities of API proxy, but they do not provide the capability of integrating with any of your cloud, both cloud and also the obsolete systems, acting as a bridge for protocol transformation, for message transformation, and providing the hardware security model. So DataPower, in a way, it bridges the gap both as an API gateway and also as a security gateway. So in this way, DataPower marches slightly ahead of all the other API gateway competitors like APG and Kong in that way.
I see. Thank you very much. There's another question. It's an interesting one. Can the DataPower integrate with DevOps CI/CD pipelines?
Yes. This is what we covered towards the end of our slide. Yes, DataPower can seamlessly integrate with DevOps CI/CD platform. Now, DataPower is available as a Microsoft, just as a Docker image. So from the IBM registry, all we need to do is to find the DataPower image, and that can be integrated with your cloud or with the OpenShift. And once that is done, it is very easy because it is lightweight, and just as a pod, you can deploy it anywhere. So it can easily be integrated, and as a CI/CD, it can completely integrate. And also the tools like Argo CD or even the Tecton allow DataPower configurations to be done completely with the version controlled as in Git or Bitbucket.
Very nice. Okay, and just associated to this specific question, there is a question from the audience. Does it support the event-driven architecture?
Yes, it supports event-driven. That's what we talked about, the MTTR and MTTD, right? The mean time to detect and mean time to react. So once we have set up these let's say we have set up a couple of actions for a particular event, and when that event code generates or when DataPower comes across those kind of events, so those particular steps of action are taken automatically by DataPower once it is configured. So the manual intervention is reduced. So when this is done automatically from the DataPower end, so the action taken is pretty much just in a flash of seconds. So this helps to, I mean, once the detection is done, the mean time to react reduces drastically, and this helps to safeguard your systems much better than a manual user trying to go through logs, finding the issue, trying to trace it out, isolating that, and then taking its action. So these kind of things can be done directly on DataPower for all the events that we have configured.
Okay, that's a good one. I hope it answers the question. What's new in IBM DataPower 10.6.x? This is another one.
Yeah, IBM. Yeah, so there are multiple different security features, especially, and apart from the throughput that we talked about, HPC, high performance computing, that has been increased to 40%. Right now, the throughput that DataPower provides is 14 GB plus, which is a massive uplift from, if you have used the previous versions of V7.5 and 2018, you can definitely feel the massive uplift that DataPower has taken in terms of the leap in the throughput. Apart from this, it has the Prometheus and Grafana native observability and JSON logs, TLS 1.3, that is the latest SSL TLS communication standard, FIPS 143, and the PQC that we talked about, the post quantum crypto, which is especially made to block any of the quantum computers from trying to break your system or trying to break your security layer. And also the one more interesting feature is the AI anomaly detection. With the integration of this new capability, so DataPower provides its AI insights, whether to it monitors your traffic, and it is able to detect the pattern, any changes in the pattern, any latency into the system. So these all are detected from DataPower. So all these are provided in 10.6.x version. So these provide a massive boost to the upcoming currently platform.
Okay, that's very nice. There is another one from the audience. Okay, so the question is also, does it supports the asynchronous HTTP request to the backends?
Yes, yes. DataPower supports both synchronous and asynchronous. What we just need to do is, in the processing policy, we'll have to define whether your traffic is synchronous or asynchronous. Yeah, when it is asynchronous, it is relatively faster, but when it is synchronous, it has to wait for the sequence of events to complete. So yeah, it is a bit asynchronous faster than synchronous, but yeah, both are completely, DataPower can handle both kind of request, both kind of these calls.
Okay, I think one last question. How does DataPower works in Kubernetes / OpenShift or cloud environment?
Okay. So as I said, DataPower is now available on IBM registry. All we need to do is just get that Docker image from IBM registry, and once that is done, that can be easily deployed on the OpenShift or the Red Hat catalog. What we need to do is, once we have our DataPower operator. Once the image is downloaded, all you need to do is just create a pod and run it. Once it is running, then we'll have to create a config maps specifically for those. And this is how all your configurations are simply just available in the config maps, and this can be easily deployed, and this can be run anywhere.
Great. I think this is pretty excellent. Once again, I'd like to thank you, Shubhashish, for your time. It was truly an insightful session. It's quite in depth. We're just waiting for a couple 30 more seconds to see if there are any further questions coming in from the audience. If not, then we will wrap it up. But just as I've talked about, please, we are going to share a survey, a very short survey at the end of this webinar, and we would request you to please fill that out so that we can come back to you with something very interesting in an upcoming webinar. And also we can sort of help you in case if you're diving into any of these technologies. We'll always be there to sort of support you and help you throughout the process. Okay, I think let's wrap it up then. Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure, and have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone.